is masturbation good or bad? Because every time you introduce that topic, people group themselves into three. It's bad, it's good, and then we have those that I don't know, I don't care, I don't mind. We can start with the negative side because, we have negatives in almost everything. Let's start with the first one. When you start noticing there is a reduction in the semen volume. Semen is different from sperms because sperms will be part of what will be in the semen. Now, the sperms themselves, they are not really affected because even if you masturbate several times in a day, you are still going to have sperms that can still make someone conceive. Now, what will be affected will be the semen volume. Now, the whole liquid, because you'll have to produce that and also fill it with minerals and other things that are required for the survival of the sperm that will be there. And by then, every second you produce 1500 sperms. And right there in this video, we're going to focus on men. And I can make a video about effects of masturbation in women. That is, if you want, you can tell me in the comment section if you're interested in such. Now, if you notice that there is a reduction in semen volume, and maybe you are planning to impregnate someone, you really would want to reduce that. It means that you're doing it more frequently. Number two, if you are noticing that after masturbation, when you go to the washroom, you are feeling a burning sensation coming out just directly after that, it means that one, there was an injury, or whatever you're using as a lubricant was, irritating the mucous membrane in your urethra, because sometimes it can get there. And this is a little bit particular to those who usually use soap as a lubricant. Try to avoid soap because it will get there and it's going to irritate the mucous membrane. So use something that will be neutral. We have lubricants for that, so you can just use that in case you must have masturbation. Another thing can be maybe you are being too aggressive on the whole activity, or if you're using your hands, you are tightening the grip too hard, and this can actually cause injuries. Try as much as possible to emulate what you can find in a vagina, like for example, having more lubricant and trying to make it a bit loose. That is if it's a must for you to masturbate, and you're going to come to why some people may want to masturbate, or some of the instances it can actually be good. Another instance is when you find that you're doing it several times in a day to a point where it's actually affecting maybe your daily routine. You're supposed to be out there, maybe doing something, but then you're somewhere stuck and you're doing masturbation. And in some instances, you find that even if you're somewhere in a mall, you find that you are running to the washroom or wherever to go and try to do that. We've seen people doing this in public. If it gets to that point, just know that it's actually now a concern. You're not supposed to get to that point. If it's getting there, then you really need to seek therapy. Number four, when you start noticing that you're using masturbation as a coping mechanism, there is a stressor, or maybe there is something, and this stressor is kind of frequent. Let's say taxes that comes each and every time okay, taxes are not that frequent. Or maybe bills. So many things can come by, and you try, and they can stress you, and you try to look for a mechanism of coping. Some usually rush to alcohol, others drugs, and some other bad things. You can find yourself that one of the best things that you do to yourself is just masturbation. If you're using this as a coping mechanism, you might get addicted. So you're trying to mask a stressor using an activity that is highly addictive because of the reward system in the brains where you produce dopamine. So you feel good and the stress is temporarily gone. So next time the brains will just tell you, hey, we need a little bit of dopamine. And especially if that stressor is coming in frequently and you're using this as a method of coping, so you might end up being addicted. Another instance is after masturbation, you feel guilt. Now, if it's getting to a point and it's high time you just stop, because sometimes, you can be affected by, spiritual things. We have religion, we have cultures, and they have some, what they refer to masturbation, and some of them is around that. So that can be, you get your masturbation, and after post-nut clarity, that's when guilt hits you. And this is where now the stress will come in. If you're getting guilt each and every time you do masturbation, I think you should try to look for something that can replace that activity, because now you are adding more stress into your system. And by the way, you should not be stressed by some of those myths which are out there. Like, for example, you are going to shrink your penis, you're going to have low self-esteem, you're going to, what else? Did I share? The fertility will decline, and other things like you should not drop your energy down. It's the same thing that will happen when you use a condom, because the same thing will happen. You're going to have ejaculation, and it's going to come with all that comes with the semen. So it doesn't mean that when you have actual sex, it's going to be different from when you're having masturbation. You're still going to use some energy, and it's going to go out, and some elements in your semen will still go out. So you should not feel guilty anyway. Now let's try to balance by looking at the good side. Like, we have instances when it can actually be a good thing. Now, if that's number one, if by having masturbation you're going to avoid STIs and UTIs and unplanned pregnancies, it can be good. If you don't need a pregnancy, and by just nutting somewhere in a corner, maybe somewhere, I don't know, If by doing that, you're going to avoid an unplanned pregnancy, it's a good thing. An STI, good thing. Because we have gonorrhea, super gonorrhea out here. If when you're out there and you're being led by the other head, the other one will not think, it will just make sense if you just leave yourself and you're going to have post-nut clarity, and maybe this cloud will pass and you just go, wait to fight another day. Number 2, if masturbation can help you not become a criminal, like for example, you're in the house, you have bad thoughts, you cannot be able to control your urges, and you look around the house, someone you've been living with harmoniously, you see them as something that you can play with sexually, and it's a relative or maybe a kid, or you know what I'm talking about. If that masturbation can help you, clear your head and, or reduce all the tensions that you do have, if that can help you do that, just pick masturbation. Just go have masturbation and let everyone live peacefully in that house and start thinking of how to clear your head, like go seek therapy. Number 3, if it's actually going to help you gain confidence. Sometimes you can have sexual, what do you call them, tensions. Maybe it's your first time, or maybe it's a new partner, or just you have things, or you have high expectations in your head, and this can give you premature ejaculation. Sometimes people usually get to ejaculate before they have actual sex by masturbation, and by doing so, the second round is usually a bit longer. This is going to give you confidence and you can perform better, and you're actually going, to last longer, and this will boost your confidence and it will be fun there going forward. Just make sure that it doesn't become a habit. If it's something that you're using to make it more enjoyable in the long run, think it's fun. Number 4, if you're doing it for, adventure, you want to learn yourself, get to understand beyond what point is a point of no return, so that you can be able to, and then you learn how to prolong it, so that maybe you can wait on your partner, maybe you synchronize when you people are going to, have orgasm together. So there is a lot that you can learn on your body, but don't do this on daily or frequently because of addiction, and I've mentioned this severally. Number 5, when your partner is not available, like for example, they are sick, or maybe they are pregnant to a point where they cannot have sex, or they are far away, that's long distance relationship. Now in such an instance, instead of going out there picking a guilt here, an infection here, or maybe financial obligations that are unnecessary there, now instead of doing all those, you can just go have masturbation and it will clear those things. Trust me, once you're done with the masturbation, once you ejaculate, it's going to clean your head. There's something usually called post-nut clarity. Number 6 is, and this is a little bit far-fetched, is if you want to reduce chances of getting prostate cancer. It has been there. We have studies that have shown that the more you ejaculate, the lower the risks you're going to have of acquiring prostate cancer. Having frequent ejaculation has been associated with lower risks of getting prostate cancer, which seems to get to you when you start getting old. Now, we have theories that have suggested that this is due to accumulation of toxins in there, and when you ejaculate, you tend to reduce the toxins that will be there, will be drained out. But a quick disclaimer, ejaculation is not the only thing that can prevent you from getting prostate cancer. You have lifestyle and other things, other factors that you need to improve. You need to exercise. Stay healthy. Number 7 is, if the plan is to exercise the pelvic floor muscles, like for example, as you age, the pressure of pushing your urine goes a little bit, lower. So it goes all the way to a point where you can even urinate on your legs. So to prevent that, you can exercise your pelvic floor muscles by 1, having regular sex. It can be masturbation or just doing Kegel. You can still do the same thing, and exercises. I'll put that in there because it cuts across. Now that you have a balance, let's try to look at things that you usually do wrong when it comes to masturbation. 1 is squeezing, or maybe using something rough. Try as much as possible to emulate what you're going to find in a vagina. Now, there is a phrase that we use here in Kenya. It's quite frequent. It's a euphemism phrase, strangling the monkey. This is trying to squeeze the head of the monkey. And this is to try to, defer ejaculation, to make it last a little bit longer. 1, you have dangers of busting your vessels based on how strong. So you're going to squeeze it. So don't do that. Try as much as possible to control your ejaculation using your head, because that's where everything will come from. Try to reduce it through here. Now stop using some funny lubricants out there, like using a dry hand, or maybe using saliva. Some usually even use phlegm. Some I've seen using lotions and stuff. Go get a lubricant, a water-based lubricant. It will help you. It will try as much as possible to emulate what you're going to find in a real vagina. So don't do that. Don't use anything that you come across. You're going to, 1, irritate. And by the way, before you even forget, don't use soap. It's going to irritate the mucous membrane, and after that masturbation, you go to urinate, you're going to feel a sharp pain because of that irritation. So don't use even the soap. Use a lubricant. Another thing, which I think should be the third one, is stop making it like a daily routine. Stop making it like every moment you have, you just masturbate. Try to replace that with something else, and try to replace it with an activity that is constructive, like reading something, and especially the introverts. I know you can spend most of the time in there and you enjoy your own company, which is a good thing, but try to occupy the thoughts with something like in the house. You can even get a project. Just go out there, buy a condemned car and put it in your garage and try to repair that thing just step by step, and try to see if you can bring it back to life. Just look for a project that will occupy most of your time when you are free, and you're not going to get time to even think about that. And at the same time, try to avoid the sights of things that can give you the thoughts of, rushing to the washroom and taking one for the road. Number 4, which is the final one, stop feeling guilty about the whole thing. It's the same thing as when you use a condom, when you have actual sex, and when you masturbate. It's the same thing. They are going to guilt trip you out there. Religion and even the culture. We have so many things to do guilt trip. Even your friends will just do that. Don't feel guilty about it. My final take and my opinion on this is masturbation is not the best thing to have. Do it when you have nothing else to do. Like, it's either masturbation or something worse. You can grab it, but at the same time, try to reduce chances of you getting to masturbate by doing what several, like I've said, get a partner. I've said that in the past. If you can get a partner, then it'll clear most of, and especially for the addictions. And by the way, I think it will make sense if you look at the things that you can actually do to, run away from masturbation. And by the way, if you are one of those who are addicted and you want to stop, you can start today. Like, if you usually do, let's say 7 times in a week, try to do 3 or maybe 4. Just don't be aggressive, start reducing. And you count how many times you had last week and try to see if you can be able to sustain that for a certain period of time. And then you reduce another one, and then you get to a point where you don't even think about it. Or you just, and by the once, for example, usually do 7 times in a week, and you pick, or you pluck one out, then try to look for another constructive activity, and then you put it there. Replace that with another activity that will be constructive, and by doing so, you're going to become better and better and better, because masturbation is not a good thing because of the fact that you can easily get addicted to, but you should never feel guilty doing it. It's fun. You are exploring yourself, or you are avoiding things that you can actually find out there, like diseases, or maybe some thoughts that can lead you to doing bad things. So yeah, don't feel guilty. I hope this video was fun. If it was fun, thumbs up, give us a thumbs up, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel. And the next should be, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm blank. Maybe you can tell me in the comment section if it's going to be masturbation in women, or we continue the series a while back when you were talking about when you're 50 and you want to get a baby. What are the steps that you can actually take when you're close to I have so many videos. If I show you my spreadsheet, I have a lot, and I want to just close my eyes, make all of those videos, and try to schedule them so that at least we get to, I was planning to go to around 600 videos before the end of this year, and I'm lagging behind. So I try to push more and make sure you have the bell on so that each and every time I upload that, you don't miss out.